Friends, subscribe to my channel Political Doctor and press the bell icon to get instant notifications anytime, anywhere.
A very good evening, friends. Welcome to yet another episode of your favorite channel, Political Doctor. Friends, we're disconnected for some time due to some issues, but we're back with you, and we assure you that you're gonna hear from us very frequently going forward. Friends, today we're going to discuss the famous case of demonetization. Friends, as you know, demonetization is very favorably known in India as demo. Demonetization was being done in the last year, November 8, 2016, with the noble intent of plugging all the bleeding parts of the economy. When I say all the bleeding parts of the economy, so basically my intention is to say that getting informal economy or parallel economy into the formal economy or the normal economy. Friends, what is a parallel economy? Friends, parallel economy is an economy which runs parallel to the national economy and which has a cash which is unaccounted, which is not known to the government, which is not tax compliant, which is not tax accounted. So government does not really know that where from you get this cash and where this cash is spent, who is the beneficiary of this cash and how this transaction originated, iska source kya hai, where from it originated source and where it went its destination. Friends, there are mixed set of opinions as far as the demonetization is concerned, and there is a bifurcated part of the population, and you can say the judgment is bifurcated in terms of whether this was good or bad. Friends, we will try to make an opinion on the part of the different facts that we have in the public domain provided in the different surveying portal mixed with the government figures and trying to form a churned opinion on the basis of that. Friends, as we know, demonetization is a kind of a cash crunch that is being created where all the cash from the society and from the economy is taken and then it is sanitized and then it's brought back to the economy, which is also called as remonetization. Friends, the demonetization was being done because India is a society which is right now curbing with the growing menace and the disease of corruption. Corruption is in all the government agencies, the private agencies, the public agencies, and day by day it is becoming a big menace to the economy and at the same time to the GDP, which has to battle. Because this cash is not accounted, so obviously it is not tax compliant. Because it is not tax compliant, it does not get accounted in terms of the Indian GDP. So the national picture misses this particular part and the people run away with this cash as a black. And with this motive, in order to get all this informal cash back as a formal cash, this motive was being done. And I would say whether this was done with the right intention, yes, everybody will agree with me, you all audiences, that yes, the intention was right. But yes, the implementation could have been better. The implementation was not that right as it could have been. And but I would say that because there was a surprise element always for the banking system and the banking federation also, but I will say that they rose up to the occasion and they came up to occasion very fast in order to remonetize India, because there was a surprise element for these guys as it was for you, me and everybody else in the Indian society when the India was demonetized last year. Friends, demonetization has various motives. First of all, as I told you, plugging corruption, getting the informal cash back into this, but then again there is a lot of counterfeit currencies that are in circulation, and these are all counterfeit currencies or fake currencies that are big liability to the Indian economy or the Indian treasure. So this was also plugged. Right, close to 1.56 lakh amount of people were brought into the tax ambit under this drive. Close to 1,300 plus shell companies are right now into question. This is basically an answer to that particular narrative where people are continuously, hearing from people that if 1.64% of the cash is the only cash they came back. So what was the basic purpose of doing the demonetization? And it is just making a hogwash or a fool out of people. But actually that is hard for being true, as I have analyzed with my survey that I have done. Friends, close to 1.56 lakh people were brought into the tax ambit and 86% of the running cash of the Indian economy was sucked up back into the system, which was close to 15 lakh crores. And out of that, if 1.64% was the only thing that did not come back, that does not mean that whole thing was converted into white. People did convert it with the help of splitting one particular transaction into multiple transactions and then purchasing some Bitcoin. But again, I would say if the 100 was the exposure of these guys in terms of black, then the 30 was the only part that they were able to convert. 70 was again the part which is still a hit to these people. And you can ask that to any guy which you know in your vicinity who has taken this hit, he will be able to elaborate his pain to you. Friends, close to 1,300 shell companies I discussed were being created. Why these shell companies? Shell companies are fictitious companies with fictitious directors. Fictitious, when I say, it is actually the drivers or carpenters or gardeners which are actually made directors of a fictitious firm which actually does not exist on the land, which just exists on the paper trail. And this is basically being done in order to create a money trail. And eventually these shell companies, after the demonetization period, which are right now into question, and right now there are closer amount of scrutiny, also running on close to 2.6 lakh transactions under the clean money operation of the different tax agencies, which is IT cell and the SFIO, which is serious fraud investigation offices and cyber analytics teams, in order to check all these things and see the trail of it. At the same time, there is a great amount of hit to the terror funding. You would have seen that there is drastic amount of increase if I plot that onto the graph in terms of the terror operations in the valley after the demonetization is being done. The impact of the stone pelting has gone very less because the money trail of these people and how the money was used to come from Pakistan and the different other hawala track of the world, and then it used to get pumped into the Kashmir side and get bifurcated to the different people who were throwing the stones on the Indian people, because these people were getting paid, so that was the only reason they were throwing stones. Now because they are not getting paid, they are not throwing stones. The amount and the quantity and the scope and the size has drastically got limited post the demonetization. At the same time, friends, you might know that arms and ammunitions are something which all these terror guys and the bad guys continuously use in order to push their agenda of terrorism into India and make Indian economy bleed on the frontiers. So that has also taken a hit because any transaction needs a cash and amount in order to get exchange. But after demonetization, as so much of currencies was being demonetized, so these people were running cashless, so they were also being hit because they were not able to purchase weapons from their vendors. So that was also an impact which will have a lasting hit in terms of all the anti-Indian and anti-state forces that act in connivance with different international agencies to beat India. Apart from that, and in addition to that, I would say that because India is a kind of an economy which is cash driven society, means majorly we would love to do anything, even if we purchase a salt, if we purchase a candle, we love to do it with cash. But after the demonetization, the thought process in the people has continuously evolved. Government has created so many social awareness campaigns. I would say right now that social awareness campaigns right now are on extreme high, because people are continuously trying to push themselves in order to not get disconnected after the demonetization from the digital ecosystem. They continuously want to stay with it, because post that demonetization they are forced to learn the different applications of mobile payment like Paytm, Freecharge and MobiKwik, and right now they have understood that how easy it is there, so they do not want to get disconnected. And at the same time, this also helps government in order to prevent itself from, first of all, getting the cost of money being printed, because you know that cost of money is always high. Even if you print a 5 rupees coin, the cost of printing that and cost of minting that is way higher than the value that it carries. So there is always the best in any economy, that the economy should be more soft than more hard. So right now the economy has moved towards the softer side after the demonetization. You can see right now even chai walas and the samosa wala, so many hawkers on the streets, they take the Paytm, they take the MobiKwik, they take the Freecharge payments, because now they have understood that how easy it is to get the cash and then transfer it back to the bank accounts of theirs. At the same time, friends, I would give you one more figure: 11.84 lakh. 11.84 lakh PANs were deactivated by the government, because these were the people who were having the multiple permanent account numbers, and this was again done with the kind of having a link to the Benami transactions and the Hawala route. So they have also taken a hit. At the same time, government had made one particular reserve, which was Krishi Vikas Garib Krishi Vikas Yojana, and that was basically done as a kind of a reserve which was created with all the people who want to declare their income. They can park their income there as a penalty. So close to 5,000 crore is being deposited there also. And as far as the voluntary disclosure scheme which the government had given, out of that also 9,334 crore was being realized by the government. So I would say a job well done, but at the same time, you, me, and every citizen, especially the older people, it was painful to see them in the line. But at the same time, when any reform is done, it is always with some pain. But so I would say yes, that there is a pain in the people, and we did suffer the pain. But at the same time, the noble intention with which it was being done was right. But the implementation part would have been better than the way it was being done. But always I would say that do appreciate the banking system and the banking federation who rose up to the occasion, working day and nights to demonetize India, because as it was surprise element for you, it was surprise element for them also. So yes, in that particular case, I would say a job well done. On the economy front, if I go a bit, GDP did go 0.5 to 1.25% lower than the growth estimates, because there are certain cash intensive sectors. When I say cash intensive, what I mean is manufacturing is something and automobile is something जहाँ cash का बहुत चलना होता है, where there is so much of cash transaction that takes place, and there are people who are daily laborers, daily wage earners, and these were the people who were very badly affected with that. It is being also reported in some parts of the manufacturing side that there were layoffs because manufacturing has gone slow because the cash crunch was being created. So yes, there was an impact on the employment part and the GDP part, which will continue till some quarters. And there are reform mechanisms also right now being pushed into in order to get the economy back from that particular track into the main solid track of a line running into the roaring phase. So that way I would say yes. So if I nutshell summarize my complete understanding and the analysis, so I would go point by point. Corruption plug, point number 1. AML activities plug, point number 2. Point number 3, more people brought under the tax ambit, close to 1.56 lakh people under the clean money operation, and I would say 9,334 crore of cash being realized, which is a big sum any day, right? So, and then I would say that close to 1.5, I think 2 plus lakh transactions are close to scrutiny right now, which are under the suspicious things, and there are close to 1,300 high risk cases, which is government right now trying to check, and if that also gets realized, which is right now getting under the scrutiny, that will be a huge cash that will get realized back into the formal economy side. Apart from that, the digital economy and the digital transactions and the more cashless amount of the system that was being pushed, government also made some initiatives in the social awareness program like Bheem UPI, which was majorly done with the basic purpose that people will have more amount of the linkage towards the soft side of the cash than the hard side of the cash, because so many issues related to it, and it's always a cost to the economy, at the same time the government. So I would say that I would give it a score of 70 out of 100. What you would like to give it, I would like to hear from you in the comment section. If you like our video, please do like and subscribe. If you do not like, please do not forget to dislike and present your opinion in the comment section. With that, I take a sign off from you guys. I hope you like this video and you give the comments by which we feel more amount of involved and participative. As I have told that this will be more amount of participative, I would love it. And with that sense, I would like to take a sign off from you guys. See you in the next video, which will be very frequent. We will not love to disconnect from you. Anything will come. We will like to continuously talk to each other. With that, I take a sign up. Good luck.